Nilofer Merchant, and she says, the species that adapt to the changes in the environment faster will surely do better. What is less clear is what the species will become as they adapt. Isn't that powerful? It makes me wonder, as we adapt to AI, what are we becoming?
We are represented. We are represented. We are represented.
Welcome to Represented, the podcast. I'm Aniki Shuru, racial equity coach for online business owners who want to be intentionally inclusive by building a business that is racially equitable. I created this podcast to normalize a conversation around racial inclusion so that fear is no longer the barrier that gets in the way of doing this work. This isn't about perfection, it's about progress. Whether you're taking your first steps or you're well-versed in the journey towards racial equity, this space is for you. So welcome home, friend. Let's get started.
From coast to coast, around the globe, we are represented.
Hey, welcome back to another episode of Represented Podcast. Today, I want to do something a little different with you. Instead of sharing lessons and stories as I normally do, I want to guide you through a gentle reflection, a pause to check in with yourself and your business. So, if you can, grab a notebook or simply sit somewhere quiet. This is your time to breathe, to slow down, and to notice what's really going on beneath the surface. You see, lately, I've been hearing from heart-led business owners who are feeling a little uncertain about AI. They're questioning these tools. Some are using them, others are resisting. And underneath it all, there is a question. And the question is, how do I keep my business truly human-centric in an age that feels more automated every day? A quote a listener recently shared with me has been on my heart as I sit with this question. And this quote is from Nilofer Merchant, and she says, the species that adapt to the changes in the environment faster will surely do better. What is less clear is what the species will become as they adapt. Isn't that powerful? It makes me wonder, as we adapt to AI, what are we becoming? Are we moving forward towards a deeper humanity or further away from it? It's a question I've been exploring deeply within myself, especially in the AI Bias Aware experience that I ran last week. Over 3 days, we looked at the ways AI can carry bias and what it means for us as online business owners. The conversations were eye-opening, and the awareness, I could see it went deep. And here's what I realized through that process. As powerful as AI is, it can never replace the human touch. And although I knew that, the experience kind of reinforced that for me, because clients are humans and they just don't want efficiency. Yes, we want things to happen quickly. We don't like to wait. But what we do want more than efficiency is that we want to feel a sense of safety. Everybody does. We want to feel like we're being seen, and to be seen is to be understood, and that we're valued in the presence of the people who are holding space for us. And what that comes back to is that it means doing the work of inclusion with intentionality. This is not something we can automate. And so, if you're curious about those conversations we had inside the AI Bias Aware experience, they're now available for purchase for just $47 Australian dollars, let me be clear. It's a great way to begin your AI bias aware journey and start seeing where these issues might already be showing up in your business. You can find the details at anniegishu.com/experience. And the link, my friend, is in the show notes. Now, given all of that, I want to spend this episode guiding you through a short reflection. Think of this as a gentle check in, a chance to pause, to ask yourself some honest questions, and to notice where inclusion is being lived out in your business. And most importantly, where perhaps it may have slipped through the cracks. So, take a deep breath with me. Hold, exhale. I'll ask you a few questions, and I don't want you to overthink this. I'm an overthinker, so as I'm saying this, I'm smiling because I'm an overthinker. I just want you to notice what comes up. If you're a journaler like me, you're going to love it. I love to write things down. And not on paper per se. Yes, I do write on paper, but what I've been using more and more over the past few years has been my notes app. And it is very, very helpful to come back to those reflections and writings because they do so much for us internally. If journaling is not your thing, that is cool. Simply sit with the thoughts and feelings that surface. Okay, first question. When was the last time I practiced inclusion, both personally and in my business? What did that actually look like? Now, it might be helpful for you to press pause as you're listening to this and move through the questions as you're able to reflect on them. Second question. If one of my clients of color gave me anonymous feedback, what might they say about how safe they feel in my programs or spaces? Question number 3. How do I keep myself informed about inclusion? In other words, how am I growing? Question number 4. Think about the activities you carry out in your business that are non-negotiables. I want you to write them down. Don't just think about them, write them down. What do you see? What's being prioritized? Now, one final question to sit with. How do I want my clients to feel in my presence? What would tell me they actually do. Now remember, if you need to pause for longer, just press pause and take your time in answering these questions. Okay, I'm going to move on now. Finding balance is something really difficult because there are things we might like to do but don't have or make time to do in our businesses. I know this to be true personally. There are things that I'm like, this is so important to me, and yet I can't seem to find time for them. For example, inclusion work might be something that's important to you. And because you tell yourself it is, it feels like you are practicing it. But in truth, it's an area that needs your attention. Mhm. Thinking you are and being is not the same. Have a look at the responses to the questions that you've just been answering. What are they telling you? Because they're telling you something. If they are showing you this is work that has slipped through the cracks, then now you have something called awareness, which is great. But awareness doesn't mean much if we don't take action, right? It's like knowing you need to exercise, but not exercising and letting yourself off the hook because you have that awareness. Awareness can be a barrier instead of a bridge to taking action because we justify, at least I know what I need to do. And this is where a lot of people find themselves getting stuck because taking action feels so hard. But business, as you know, you wouldn't be here. It's not for the faint-hearted. If you really want something, you must work hard and go for it. And so, if today's reflection has shown you that there's more you need to be doing, I'd love to invite you into Represented. It's my 10-week program for online business owners who want to move from awareness to action. Together, we audit your business, your systems, and yes, even your AI use, so you can build something that truly reflects your values. Inside Represented, you learn how to, in Module 1, see it. That is, understand how bias travels from culture into tools and then into your business. In Module 2, you get to check it. That is, audit your touch points with simple reviews that support you both personally and in your business, because the inner work of working on yourself must always come first. In Module 3, we get to change it. We get to update your marketing, your delivery and operations so more people feel welcome, more people feel seen, more people feel understood, and like they actually matter. And finally, in Module 4, we get to sustain it. We get to build rhythms and a repair practice that you get to keep. And even as AI continues to evolve, you continue to grow. And here's how past students have described their journey inside Represented.
I joined Represented because I really wanted to educate myself on racial equity, and I heard Annie on a podcast, and I was just drawn to her nature. She is kind and she is encouraging, and she's just the absolute perfect person for this work. So that was my kind of reasons for joining Represented. My biggest takeaway, I feel like it's not really just one takeaway, it's just changed everything. It's changed how I look through the lens of anti-racism now, whereas I didn't before. So that's been a massive change and difference. It's almost like having your eyes opened really to a whole another way to look at the world. So that's definitely been my biggest takeaway. And if you're watching this and you're not sure whether to join Represented, I would say, if you are sitting there, this is what I was like. If you were sitting there and thinking, oh, I keep hearing people talk about doing the work and, but I don't really know what the work is. Is it reading a blog? Is it reading a book? Is it listening to podcasts? What is the work? Represented is for you, because Annie gives you a framework. She tells you what the work is. You learn what the work is. It's ongoing work, like it'll never be finished, but you learn what it is and you learn how to weave it into your life. So for me, that was just so valuable. And the second thing is, if you don't know the difference between being not racist, which I think most people would, consider themselves not racist, and anti-racist, if you don't know the difference between those two, Represented is for you, because I didn't know the difference. And Represented taught me that there is a big difference. And I'm just so grateful to have learned all that I did with Annie. And, it's really, like I said, it's ongoing work, but I'm on the journey, and we're one step at a time. We can all help to make the world more racially equitable. So, join up. I have nothing but good words to say about it.
This is the kind of transformation that happens when you allow yourself to go deeper into this work. Imagine opening your next launch and seeing a more racially diverse group of clients signing up, not just because of your sales funnel, by the way, but because they feel a level of safety and value in your presence.
I joined Represented with Annie Gachuru because what I felt was in my heart, that I was an inclusive business owner, wasn't being represented, in the enrollment in my programs. And the other reason that I joined was because I've been lucky enough to work in truly inclusive workplaces, and I have seen the immense value that comes from that place. So when I was creating my own business, I wanted to make sure, like, I had that example, and I wanted to make sure that whatever I was creating, even though it was just me at this moment, was going to be something like those places that I had worked in previously. And I guess the third reason I joined is because I consider myself a user experience, a UX expert, and inclusivity is really at the core of that. And after reading Annie's emails, I signed up for an email list. And after reading her emails, I joined Represented. And it just felt like such a no-brainer for me. I immediately felt like she was someone who was going to create an open and sharing space, for all the learning and unlearning to take place. And that's exactly what I experienced inside Represented. I guess what really surprised me inside Represented was just how much joy I found in this work. Like, it was so incredibly satisfying to focus on, doing something right when, in a world that just feels so wrong sometimes. The very next time, I really, really tried to commit myself fully to the program. And, there was a lot of things that surprised me. I thought I was much further, if I'm honest, I thought I was much further on my journey than I actually was. And it just, it really empowered me to do the work that I need to do. But, the very next time that I opened my doors for my program Beyond Web Copy, enrollment, I had so many more signups than I had in any other round. And from the most fabulously diverse, groups of people, and from almost every continent on earth, which was just amazing to me. And I'm positive that wouldn't have been the case without Annie's teachings and guidance and support. I made that investment back, the very reasonable investment in Represented. I made that back within, a couple of months. And I'm set up now to continue to work towards creating the inclusive business of my dreams. So just thank you, Annie. And it's just the most wonderful offer out there.
That's the kind of business Represented helps you build. Now, the doors are open for the 12th round. Yes, you heard that right. The 12th round of Represented. And I would love so much to journey with you. Doors close on the 25th of September. Scholarships, by the way, are available if that would be supportive to you. Please reach out if that's you, and you can reach out to me via Instagram. My handle is at annie.gishiru. Otherwise, head on over to anniegishiru.com/represented for all the details, and that link is in the show notes.
We are represented. We are represented. We are represented.
Thank you so much for tuning in. Why don't you go ahead and hit that subscribe button and leave a review so this podcast can reach more online business owners, and together we can begin to normalize racial inclusion in the online coaching space. I'd love to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land where this podcast episode was recorded, the Wiradjuri people in central New South Wales, Australia. Music produced in Nairobi, Kenya by Patrick St. P. Mbaru and Kambua Mathu. Vocals by Joanne Matata.
Represented.